And that goes for Todd Horwitz. He has been to our studio as well. Right now, though, he's live on the floor at the CME Group, where he calls home more than he calls home, I guess, don't you?
I do, Mark. Good morning. And that is AgroLiquid from St. John, Michigan, right?
Yeah, that's it. You got it. Right, man. You're right on top of it here. All right. Todd, I'm interested to visit with you here a couple days before the holiday. A lot of folks are saying, hey, don't discount this market here just because of the holiday. That's going to slow down to a crawl, and some interesting things could happen here, especially on Friday. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I mean, obviously, as traders go away for vacation, as traders take off for the holiday, the thinner the markets get, the more likely something could happen. Now, from a normal expectation, I would expect it to be nothing, and I think we would see a lot of the action like we're seeing today, just, like the grains, both sides of unchanged, just flipping back and forth with not a lot of action. But if a big order were to come in, it could push the markets in a direction one way or the other, and that would drive some of the technical analysis, and it would force people that were on vacation to look at their phones and say, oh, I got to do something, and they would then try to chime in. But overall, my expectations are to be very quiet, but I will be prepared, and I would not be taking a very big position into this weekend if I were as a trader or speculator, because again, the chance of something happening is okay, and it might happen, but overall, I think the market's more likely, if anything will happen, would be to the downside. I think what you've seen is we've reached pretty much our objectives and everything that we've looked for, and we're starting to see one more push up in the dollar, which is kind of what we expected, 102 in the dollar. As we said for weeks, we were going to get to par, which is a dollar. Now I think 102 will be the top of the dollar, and I think we're seeing some reaction off of that right now.
Very good. And OPEC meeting as well here. Are they going to cut production?
You know what? I have no interest in OPEC. I think that is a big false thing that people are looking at. I think they're driving the markets on that particular event. And no matter what they do, oil's at a way overextended here. And Goldman Sachs is now recommending that it go higher, which means that they're really trying to sell it because they're looking for a place to get in.
I see. Okay, look at crude oil then. So you have been suggesting for some time that January could retrace back down to actually the $40 a barrel. You still like that number?
I like it a lot. I mean, I think that, again, you have to be able to take through some of these tough times. Like right now, I mean, it was 42 just a week ago. Now we're back up over 48. Yeah. But again, this is, I think, short covering. This is a little bit of a squeeze. And if you take the fundamental data, there's way too much supply. So how can it really continue to go higher? So I think we do see 40, and I think our farmers and producers will be happy. They'll be able to hedge for next year and be able to lock in those fuel costs.
Very good. Todd Horwitz live from Chicago. Take a look at the grain trade here before we do take a break. The corn futures, as he mentioned, pretty quiet right now. December up a half. March is unchanged. Soybeans, big jump yesterday and holding on to a little bit of that here. Another 2 cents higher today in beans. Wheat trade a little flat here as well right now. December Chicago down $0.0125. Kansas City, the December, is up $0.0125. And Minneapolis, the December there is up 1/4 cent. So again, a quiet day so far in the wheat trade. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll talk livestock with you, Todd. Todd Horwitz, Bubba Trading from Chicago after this. Welcome back to Market Day Report. Let's go back to Chicago, visit with our good friend Todd Horwitz. It's Bubba Trading, BubbaTrading.com. Great information on that website here. And any webinars coming up here after the holidays that our farmers and ranchers might be interested in, Todd?
Yeah, we're going to do one probably the first week of December, and again, trying to get prepared for next year. And I want to kind of see some of the market action before we get in. But I'm going to start probably the first week of December will be one most likely.
Very good, and we'll let folks know how they can get signed up for that. Go to BubbaTrading.com just to learn more about Todd trying to help you put a marketing plan together. That includes livestock here. Talk about the beef trade first, and we'll get to pork in a minute.
Well, I think beef has been strong. It's at my levels. I mean, I am no longer a buyer here. I'm looking to be a seller for short term. Again, when I talk for myself, I'm thinking about a short-term speculative trade because I do think that we're going to start to sell off from here. Now, again, overall, longer term, I'm bullish. So, farmers and producers, continue to hedge and make sure you hedge up at these prices. But overall, I think we're going to see some selling coming here. I think you're going to see the live cattle probably check back down to 106 or 104. I think feeders are going to go probably probably under 120 again. And I think you're seeing that kind of action right now. We've got to that level, we pushed up, and now I think the excitement is gone, and now some of the resistance is coming in, and there's going to be some profit taking here. So I look for lower prices in the short term, but really all those are, to me, are opportunities to try to buy and get long going forward. But make sure, again, that you protect at these higher levels, because pretty good spot here from where we were at 96 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. And feeder cattle gave us an indication even at the close yesterday after their big advance almost all day, the last hour, gave it all back and a lot more. We'll give the numbers here, but I want to get your thoughts in the pork complex. Do you like that or no?
I do not. I think that, again, I like it long term, but in the short term here, I think that $50 level is way overextended. I think that, we've had a 25% rally here, and I do think unless there's some crisis that we haven't identified yet, I think we're going to see lower prices. And again, I'm looking for spots to buy. I'm not looking to short. I mean, I will short as a speculator up at these levels, but I'm actually looking for a spot to re-enter from the long side. But I do think that we're well overextended, and I think the action's kind of showing you that now. It's a little bit more jittery, and yesterday's late day collapse, not collapse, but late day sell-off, I think is an also indication of that.
And but all this going on with the record slaughter each week, though, you got 2.5 million hogs, and yep, this market seems to hold together fairly well, though, Todd.
Well, I think that's one of the things we're looking at, Mark. That's always something that's very important to watch, is how the markets are reacting to the fundamentals. That's why I only look at technical things when I'm trying to enter a trade. I know what the fundamentals are, but the technicals are telling me that we're overextended and that we're going to see part of a sell-off, and then the fundamentals do actually back that up.
Very good. Todd, we're going to take a break, or we'll take a look at those numbers specifically, and wish you and your family very happy Thanksgiving. You may be with us tomorrow, though, anyway, before that, so we're going to keep you working this week.
I want to work. I want to be with you, and I want to wish all my farmers and producer friends and listeners on XM 147 a happy Thanksgiving if we don't catch you tomorrow. So I appreciate it, and great to be here.
Yeah, as well. Thank you for the great input. Todd Horwitz live from Chicago. Here are the numbers as promised before we hand it back to Christina. Live cattle futures are higher December, up 8 points. Todd says be careful here. 109.10, maybe, again, getting toppy in here in his view. Feeder cattle already were lower yesterday at the close and down today. January, 33 points lower, 123.85. And hog futures so far today a bit weaker. December down 23. Says $50 may be the top there as well.
All right. Interesting day.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here, even on a holiday week. Thank you so much, Markets Editor Mark Oppel.